Bodini in 4 minutes. The typeface Bodini was created by Giambattista Bodini, who was often revered as king of the printers. He was made director of the royal printing house of the Duke of Parma. His masterpiece was Homer's Iliad, which was dedicated to Napoleon, who made him a chevalier. Bodoni sought to create a diatome typeface, or also known as a modern typeface. Bodoni found inspiration from John Baskerville and also Firmin Diot. He loved the contrast between the thick and thin lines, unbracketed serifs, and strong vertical stresses. If we look at Diot and compare this to Bodini, we can see how so many elements have been taken from it, how the shapes and form are very modern, moving away from the classical elements. If we look at the serifs on the D, we can see how Bodini and Diot are very similar, but Bodini has added slight curvature to take away the harshness. If we go over to the A now, we can see how Bodini has changed this and made the terminal much more curved and defined, taking away from the simplicity of the Diots and making it more elegant as a typeface. In this final part of the comparison, if we look at the X height, we can see that Bodini has shrunk his X once again to try and make the typeface look more elegant. There are many similarities in the diatome typeface, such as horizontal stresses, as you can see on the bowl of the D. Also abrupt serifs, which you can see on the D, which adds contrast in the letter. Vertical axis on rounder letters. High contrasts on the letters between thick and thin. And finally, small apertures on the letters. Bodoni moves the eyes up and down as opposed to left and right, making this hard to read in large chunks of text. We can see this when we look at this N, where the contrast is extremely high between thick and thin. This is what causes the eye to move up or down. Once again, we can see in the T, the heavy contrast. This creates a dazzle effect on screens, making it hard to read. Bodoni is a fantastic typeface for titles or large pieces of typographic work. And many brands have used it to add a sense of value and prestige to their brand, as we can see by Calvin Klein. But Bodoni, when shrunk, is much harder to read. And so it's not as much of an effective typeface as others nowadays. Even with this flaw, Bodoni is one of the most favourite modern typefaces.